welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Offsides Podcast, the unofficial official podcast of Charlotte Football Club. I'm your host, Andres Robledo, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Pablo the Dino Robledo. Pablo, how's the weekend been?
It was a good long weekend.
Did you have Monday off?
Yeah, of course. Did you?
Nice. Yeah. Hopefully everyone had a good Monday off.
Yeah, nice long
30
weekend.
weekend.
Good to take some time and rest and recoup from that upsetting game on Saturday. But
Yeah. We are gonna get to that.
yeah, I did nothing on my day off. I played FIFA and I won the EFL Cup and the FA Cup with Derby. So yeah, pretty
Nice.
good accomplishment.
Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time at Best Buy, and then spent a good bit of time trying to get our dad's purchase from Best Buy all connected, and uh, that was quite the challenge. But it's all said and done now, hopefully.
Yeah.
But let's jump into the show. What news do you got for us?
Nothing too crazy. We're probably about 2 weeks late on this, but it looks like Charlotte is gonna decide on a final training ground for a training facility to open up in 2023. Um, Somewhere in McAlpine Park. I think you know the location better than I do. But
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with the area, and
right,
that's about it though. But
but that's good though.
gonna be Yeah, I've been thinking about it, and it's not something we've discussed before, I don't believe, but I think, if you're not going to invest the money into, bringing in uh like stadium renovations or building a soccer specific stadium,
Right.
and I think bringing top names to Charlotte FC is going to be a challenge just due to the competition in the MLS, like not just from a team standpoint or performance wise, but just some of the uh, some of the intangibles that Charlotte just doesn't have a chance to catch up on. Such the things that like LA can offer, or New York can offer, or Miami can offer, those kind of things. I mean, heck, even Orlando, right? Like, if you can choose between living in Florida or New York or California, you're probably more inclined as a professional than you are living in North Carolina, Charlotte. So I think, to make up for that disadvantage, hopefully Tepper and his organization, really pours a lot of money into this and just builds like the best training facility, with the top tier staff, like, best equipment, best nutritionists, best PTs you can get, like, and use that as a way to start luring in, the guys that maybe are on the younger side of the league, but ones who are like really looking to try to take their career to the next level, and we can provide them those tools as opposed to, established stars who are kind of going to end their career here and are looking for, a specific lifestyle that Charlotte just unfortunately probably can't offer. I don't know, what do you think?
No, yeah, I think that's a good point. Because we mentioned this before as far as bringing top talent from other leagues to the MLS. It's hard to do that when Charlotte's still a relatively small city with not a lot to do. Um, but like you mentioned earlier, for young players that are maybe using Charlotte, I mean, I kind of hate to put it that way, but maybe using Charlotte as a stepping stone to bigger and better things. That's a good way. You find those kind of like Bender, like those diamonds in the rough. Like I didn't expect such talent from that guy when the season started, just because he was so young and he didn't look the part. Um, he was a little bit, I don't want to say shy, but kind of reserved a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once the season started going, like you just saw like how much talent this kid really had.
Yeah, or even, to take it a step further, like finding that next Tyler Adams, that next Brendan Harrison, maybe even the next Christian Pulisic before a European giant like Borussia Dortmund does, like, and being able to offer like those facilities, like, listen, you're 16, 17. We've got, the best youth coaches, the best training equipment, nutritionists, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is going to help elevate your career for the next 4, 5, 6 years. And you get to stay in the States. Like, you don't have to go over to Europe all by yourself. Like, you know what I mean? So I think, Charlotte's in a good position to kind of try to build itself to do something like that and stick out in the league that way. And, we could become a team that raises the next group of like US superstars or just young international superstars, and dominate in the league that way. I think that's something that's kind of surprised me about the MLS is like how young some of these guys are that are playing. Like you said, Ben Bender. I mean, Brian Romero just signed a pro contract with the team. We saw 16, 17-year-olds for Seattle, for Philly. Like, it's pretty, or even New England as well. So it's not totally uncommon for such young guys to be making an impact right away. So I think that's just something that hopefully Charlotte will do to kind of better their competitive advantage. We don't have those nice sunny beaches of Florida and California, and, all the luxury lifestyle living of New York. So hopefully Tupper doesn't cheap out on this.
Well, you saying Myrtle Beach is not good? It's not good enough. Dirty Myrtle. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, when your nickname is Dirty Myrtle, yeah, it's probably not the best spot.
But I think, yeah, also like maybe, because I can see Bender going overseas to, maybe I don't know, it's hard. Maybe a Liverpool. Like, let's say he goes to Liverpool, or Gaines ends up going to, I hate to say it, but like a Man City or something like that. I'm like, yeah, those guys came from Charlotte, and we can start developing that reputation. Like those superstars, or not superstars, maybe in the future, who knows. But they're overseas playing now, bigger and better soccer, but they started in Charlotte, and we can start building that reputation. I think that could definitely help us recruit just better talent.
Yeah, some high expectations. Yeah, for Bender and Gaines. There's pretty big clubs for them to go and make an impact on.
I mean, it can be done, right? Maybe Pulisic over in Chelsea. I think he's getting ready to get traded.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think it's a big gap in talent, but I could maybe see Ben Bender playing in Europe. But I don't know about a Liverpool or a Man City.
You know what I mean. Just some sort of European, maybe like even a derby, or
yeah, something around
somewhere
that
in the
level
Italian league, or even the French league. I think we could take on a couple of French teams besides PSG.
Yeah, that was something. I don't know if you saw making its way around the media, but I don't know which French team it is, but they have these seats behind one of the corner flags that is a hot tub for two. So you go sit in a hot tub the entire game and watch the game there.
Wow, that's it's very French.
So maybe that's a renovation we could do.
There is a a baseball stadium that's like that. They have like a pool somewhere off in the I guess the not like
Outfield.
Yeah, the outfield. They have some sort of like pool out there. I don't know which baseball team it is, but that's still pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But you definitely know those guys peed in that hot tub if they don't get out of there like the whole game. Not even for halftime.
Yeah,
like,
and they're
definitely peeing.
They're having Bud Lights just delivered. I've seen you have 15 Bud Lights, but you've yet to leave that. Where's all the piss?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. And then the other little bit of news we have is, I don't know if it's died down or what, but it looks like there's maybe another departure for Charlotte coming soon, or maybe in the off season. But there was rumors or leaks that the club was trying to sell Jordi Reyna off to, I think, a Spanish club. Disappointing to see, especially with his performances, and he's been lacking at that position, that kind of winger position. and he's been kind of one of our best playmakers. What do you think of the club trying to, are they trying to profit off of a good stint of performances, or are they kind of just trying to, start over and get rid of who they can, or why do you think the club's trying to make this move?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm trying to do the same thing now in FIFA. I'm just getting those guys in there so I can sell them for a profit, but it's not the same thing, I guess, when it's real life. Um, I guess it's all in the
And
maybe in the
when he's the only
context.
guy that's providing assists,
Yeah, exactly.
pretty
Or
much.
getting like those record-breaking early goals, things like that.
Yeah.
It's sad that both times he's had goals, we've ended up losing. Um, but I guess it's also like in the context of it. Maybe it was early in the season when he was pretty much inactive after that first LA game, whether it was injury or just Miguel not wanting to put him in. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't think the coaching saw like I mean I don't want to brag on myself too much, but I like that LA game was all I needed to see from him to be like, man, that guy's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
called it early on, just like you called Bender, but I was like, yeah, no, Reyna's quick, he's agile, he can like cut real fast. So maybe they just didn't see that, and we're just trying to get rid of some dead weight. But I'm glad it never went
Yeah.
through. That's for sure.
And the only, yeah, I was gonna say, just to add on to your point, the only thing I could think of is, he was pretty inconsistent in the first half of the season. Really been only the last 8 to 10 games where he's been consistent, like of just playing very well. Started getting the start, and each performance was very good. But early on in the season, it was like he'd come on and do well, get the start in the next game, and just be like completely invisible. I wonder if maybe they're just worried that that's going to become a thing again, and feel like, oh, let's just go ahead and cash our chips in here while we're up, or what. But hopefully he's not someone that leaves in the off season, and hopefully he becomes a bigger part of the team going forward, because I think he's one of the more fun guys to watch on our team.
Yeah, yeah. The way he just controls the balls, and man, he loves that top right corner of the goal. That's for sure.
Yeah, the old R1 shoot button.
Control shot.
I remember, I think it was like FIFA 11 or 12, where that was so broken.
Oh
You
yeah,
could do it from anywhere around the box and it was going in
yeah,
with like any
yeah,
player.
yeah. It was like the overpowered shot, basically.
Yeah.
Are you are you excited for this new FIFA that's getting ready to drop at the end of the month?
Um, I'll have to
I have
see,
mixed feelings
man.
about it because I know it's just gonna be like just another polished turd, basically.
Yeah, I think I'm probably more excited for like next year of when I think EA's, like, whatever they're gonna call it, like EA Club or whatever. I think that's probably just gonna be like the same old thing, just with a new name. And I think whoever develops FIFA going forward, I think that could be exciting if they do some things. I've been wanting to play Pro Evolution Soccer more, just from some of the videos I've seen. You can set the game up to be like a lot more, I guess, realistic and like some of the passing you can do and stuff. And I mean, for us growing up, that was like the better franchise, for a while, until maybe like FIFA 10 through 14 or so. Uh, but those games are always just so much more fun, especially the career modes where you had to like earn your spot on a team. Like, you didn't just get to pick what club you wanted to play for. You had to like do a trial game, and then from like that performance you got offers, and then throughout the season you might get offered. Like, I don't know why no other game has like gone back to do that. Maybe people complain because they couldn't get to the club they wanted to or whatever, but I thought that was so cool. Like, that was the most fun and what is the word I'm looking for? Like, immersive game like feature in a you know soccer video game. So hopefully, I'd like to see someone bring that back.
Yeah, yeah. I think what you said earlier is like, because maybe players just didn't get that instant gratification of playing for the club that they wanted to. Like I like the way you had to kind of build up your career and develop. It was like a slow develop too, Whereas now, like even if you start off at a 65 rating, by the end of the season, you could be a solid, 80, 85 just because of the way you can develop so fast if you do all the training and all
Yeah.
the extra stuff. Um, I did watch a YouTube video where like if you don't do all the training and all the stuff, it'll slowly develop your player more realistically, but still like you get to pick what club you join right off the bat, and it's like it's not how it really works.
Yeah, plus like I don't know what what is there really to play for if you just get to pick that, you know. I kind of like where you have to try to grind for something.
Yeah, like that's kind of why I picked Derby on this one because it's like they were on playing for promotion, and then right after that maybe like the Premier League Cup and then the Champions League and all that stuff. It's like, man, if I can do it with Derby, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Plus I don't know how it is now. I think maybe FIFA has the licensing for the Champions League or maybe it's still PES, but I remember like in those games like the Champions League was like just so different than your regular matches. It was so cool. They played the theme song and stuff. Like that was sick.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was wondering. It's like, how's licensing gonna affect? Because now essentially, there's gonna be possibly three soccer games coming out next year. One by PES, one by I guess FIFA, and another one by EA.
I
So,
guess
and
so,
that's
yeah.
like one thing that like always kind of hurt PES was the licensing. It
Yeah.
was like West Manchester or what was some other one?
Yeah, London
Right,
FC.
yeah, and I was like, oh, it was because they don't have licensing.
Yeah.
But yeah, FIFA does have the licensing for the champions, but I don't know how that's gonna work with like these other ones coming out. Just
Yeah.
wondering if we're gonna
Yeah.
see some more, West Manchesters.
Yeah. If EA had to go the kind of Madden route and name their game after a player, who do you think would be the one going forward? Or it would be, instead of Madden 23 or 24, it would be, blank whoever 24. Who would I mean I can guess who you would want to see, but who do you think would be?
Oh, like a player.
Yeah,
Um,
you know how like there's Madden,
yeah, yeah, I know
23
what you
and
mean. Because Madden started out as a player and then went on to coaching, and then broadcasting. So I would like for them to pick something along those routes. But man, it would have to be somebody that like translates to everybody worldwide. Like,
yeah.
I, it wouldn't be Ronaldinho just because like who's gonna buy
Yeah.
Ronaldinho 24?
I mean, I would buy that, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Feels like personal marketing.
yeah. And then
Like they made this game just for
and he'd
me.
be like, I ain't paying taxes on this either.
That's interesting you point out that it'd be good to see them follow the same routes of like player, coach to broadcaster, right? I can't think of like anyone who's like that except like Thierry Henry a little bit.
Right?
Like well, I guess he's coaching right now, right?
Is he?
Isn't he like the Belgium coach or something?
Have
And then he coached in the MLS for a bit. And he does like some Champions League like analysis stuff, not really a commentator
right.
or like broadcaster like you say. Um, I can't think of anyone who would fit that box, but I think realistically it would probably be like a Messi or a Ronaldo. Just like you said, that's going to translate worldwide and sell millions of copies, I'm sure.
If anybody's gonna get that contract for a game named after themselves, it would be like Mbappe, just because of the crazy deal he got now, and it kind of rings too, like Mbappe 24, Mbappe 25. Kind of rolls off the
Yeah,
tongue
but
a
is he
little.
worthy of that?
Well, is he worthy of the contract he's got now?
No, absolutely
But he's
not.
got it.
Yeah. I didn't watch the video, but there was like this thing going around social media about Mbappe, and we're super off topic here, but we'll get back onto it in a second. But just a small tangent on him. Uh, saying like at 23, Messi had already won the Ballon d'Or, like the prize for the best player on the planet, and it was like Mbappe at 23 watched Messi win the Ballon d'Or. It was like, geez, yeah, man, I don't know how people are hyping him up so much. Like, yeah, he's young, but it's not that young anymore. and Messi and Ronaldo both just accomplished so much more. Like, I get people are trying to find that the next guy like that, but it's not Mbappe. I don't know why we're so hyped up on him.
Yeah, I think that club was just trying to heavily invest in somebody young that is gonna stick around the club for a long time, and he's also somebody that definitely draws a crowd. So, bottom line, it's a business, and it's about getting butts and seats. So,
Yeah,
I think that's kind of what they were going for. Not to say he doesn't have talent. He definitely has talent, but I think also from what I've been seeing, just circling the news feed, is like his ego is kind of getting out of control with the
yeah,
attitude towards Neymar, and rumors are saying trying to get him signed off, and the shoulder bump to Messi.
yeah.
It seems to like rubbing other players wrong.
$300 million will do that to you.
Yeah, and
I'd
like what
imagine.
part ownership or say so's, and like who comes in as transfers and coaching options. And it's like, dude, that guy's got a lot of power.
That guy's playing FIFA in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
Yeah,
playing player manager mode in real life.
yeah. He picked his own club and everything. Yeah,
uh,
but like I
yeah.
said, I could
Well,
see him getting like the video game franchise.
yeah, yeah. That could make sense as well. Cause like you said, he's young and really well known name. Maybe draws more of the younger generation now than a Messi or a Ronaldo does. But back to Charlotte FC. Let's uh let's start with the telltale sign that it was going to be a weird match night with the fact of the lineup that was announced. Give me your thoughts on that lineup and and why you had those thoughts. What names on there kind of stood out for you?
Well, I think you know what I was gonna say. As soon as you showed me Rios on that starting uh, front there, I was like, why even bother? Like, what are we even playing for? It wasn't the loss that killed the hopes of the playoffs. It was seeing Rios' name on there. I'm like, there goes the playoffs. There goes the playoffs. There's no way that guy scores, and he came nowhere near scoring this past game.
No, yeah. And it's funny because like I think out of a lot of the Charlotte FC fans I've seen or interacted with, and a lot of the other Charlotte FC like podcasts and media creators, uh, or fanalists, I think we are probably some more of the harshest ones around. Um, but I will say, like on Twitter at least, everyone's sentiment with that lineup was pretty much the same. Like, okay, this is a lineup of a team who has given up and is trying to work towards next year. Giving some inexperienced players or some bench players like let's see what we have. Maybe we can sell some off, or giving starters rest or what. But it was definitely not a starting lineup that was there to win that game. Uh, there's nothing the manager could or starting 11 could say to convince me otherwise. It just made no sense, in multiple parts. The big one for a lot of people was the Rio start, especially because if you go with what Latanzio's been saying about Shinyashishki, he sees him as a forward, fighting for time along Swiderski. So that kind of automatically puts Rios in the third uh, order, third best striker on the team or whatever. So he's kind of way down in the depth chart, and for him to get a start over both those guys is just appalling. He's got what, one MLS goal this season, and it's not like he has only played bit parts of the season. He's had quite a few games. So it's just, yeah, it was really disheartening to see that.
Yeah, yeah. Rios wasn't another one that I also was like not too happy to see. Um, who was it? Mora. Once I saw Mora on there, not that I don't like Mora, I think Mora does a great job. But I was, I kind of expected to see like our full strength squad. Like I expected to see Brownico, Um, and Yazviak, yes and no, but I like Reyna out there starting over him.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, same.
but yeah, like whenever I saw just Mora and Yazviak, I was like, man, we're really putting this up there to chance. Or I was like, maybe the coach just knows something we don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Fuchs was tired or what, but yeah, like you said, Mora. I like when Mora plays. I think he's very solid, but I do think you miss out on some attacking benefits when you're not playing Fuchs. Uh, the other one that didn't necessarily have a problem with, but like awful for Lindsay. I didn't think that one made sense, and the fact that like Lindsay's been playing very well, and if you're like giving up on the season, why not let him keep playing and get more experience as opposed to like you're putting awful in who is an MLS veteran. I don't think he's going to benefit from more minutes, so I thought that one was really weird. Um, and
Yeah,
trying to think of who,
I was good with that
but
awful one. I mean, for me, awful and Lindsay are like one for one. Just one is younger and the other one's not. Um, but that's just my personal take on it. Like I'm good with him, but I could see your point of view from it.
yeah, I just thought it was a little odd. Like, give your young guys more time. Like, that's why I like that Bender was out there. You know, he obviously he's had plenty of playing time this season, but keep throwing him out there so he can learn. Malanda, it was great to see him get another start. So early in on the Charlotte FC career, he is a top talent. I'm excited for a full season with him, especially once Carujo gets healthy again. Uh, And Vargas got the start. That was nice to see. I thought this was a really great performance by him. Um, but yeah, just a very very weird lineup going into this game. Um, let's talk first half. For me, I don't have a lot to say about the first half. It felt like pretty slow and one sided. Uh, I don't know. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought. I think it was a lot to do just also with the rain, which, I like a good rainy game every now and then. It kind of puts the ball, it, like not so predictable. Like you get some wonky shots or just bad passes or things like that. And I think we saw it a little bit too when the camera showed shots of the ball. Like that ball would like hit the pitch and it would kind of like not roll but just slide.
Yeah,
So I guess like that's one of the cons of having the turf instead of actual grass. But
yeah,
the way it was raining Saturday, it was like you would have probably had some swamps somewhere in that pitch somewhere. But no, yeah,
yeah. It was some nasty weather.
yeah, it was. But in a nutshell, I think Cincinnati pretty much dominated that first half. Um, we didn't see too many attacking scenarios out of Charlotte. Um, I would say it was just frustrating first half.
Yeah, and then obviously, towards the end of the first half, Cincinnati get the opening goal off the corner kick. You know, I think you and I were talking about it while we were watching the game. But if someone could pull this, and I think we talked about this last week too. But if someone could just pull the information of like how many corners a team gives up and how many times they get scored on, like I'd be willing to bet $1,000 that Charlotte FC has probably one of the highest conversion rates of that in the MLS from like defending it. Like we're just so bad at defending corners. It feels like every game we get scored on by a corner kick. And then on the flip side of that, it's like it's so many corners and we don't score ever. I think we've scored two all season. Like we must have the worst conversion rate on both sides of that. That and that's I feel like that's like just sign of bad coaching or like not disciplined coaching. Like that's stuff you have to go over on the training ground. I mean, what do you think? Am I off the mark there or what?
No, no, I think you said it right on. Like anytime there's a corner on us, I always get a little more nervous. I think probably anybody would, but like it just seems to. that we have gotten scored on quite a bit from corners. Um, and like anytime we get a corner, I honestly don't expect it to go in. Like it's just like I
No,
hope we
I
get a good
yeah.
rebound or can get the ball back because most of the times they don't go in at all.
Every time we get a corner, I'm pretty much like, well, we might as well just give them a goal kick. Like that's where this is probably gonna end up more than likely. I just feel like we don't ever set up any good set piece plays. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, not much else to add on my end from the first half. Anything else on your end?
Um, no, I think that was about it. I mean, like it was very slow, very just back and forth. Um,
It was very oddly slow with Cincinnati. They did some weird stuff right off the beginning. Like,
yeah,
uh, their goalie, like for some reason on the kickoff, we pretty much just gave it to their goalie, and he held on to it for like 30
yeah,
seconds.
that was
That no
weird.
one
Like,
pressured him or anything.
and not only that, but like when he would do the goal kicks, man, he took forever to do those to like kick off the ball off the line.
Yeah, and like their throw-ins and corner kicks, like just players really took their time. It was odd. It was really weird.
Yeah,
It was a weird game.
yeah, it was. Um, what is it? We had we did have that one free kick too around the 22nd minute. Cincinnati got a yellow off that, but still, like, just like corners, set pieces, we're not that great at either. We don't have a designated like free kick specialist, and I think it was Yazviak that hit it. Oh no, it wasn't. Maybe it was Mora, but it was still like right at the wall, and we did nothing with it.
Yeah,
At a
so
pretty nice
disappointing.
angle too,
Yeah,
but no, yeah, nothing memorable in that first half.
yeah, it was just a very slow game. And
Physical,
very like low quality. I feel like it's we had family over at my place to watch it. Uh, and I don't know if you were there when I was saying it, but I was like, man, if you're a new fan to MLS and this is like the game you tune into, like I don't see how you don't change the channel. It was just so boring. They just no teams were really doing anything.
yeah, it's
It
just
was just like very sloppy, very slow, and I'm sure weather has a big effect on that. But I just thought that it was a really low quality game.
well, like earlier in the day, I watched the Real Madrid and Real Betis game, and like their pace, their pace of play is just so much quicker. Their attacking scenarios are just so much different. And by I mean quicker, I mean like, they get the ball and right off the bat, you got midfield starting to make runs, or you got those 1-2 passes to like just get some sort of attack going, and it's quicker. Whereas here, it's like, they get the ball back somewhere in the middle, and then they like pass it back to the defense and circle around and go back, and it's just like very slow. It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you said, I don't see how somebody doesn't turn the channel.
Yeah, that's always like yeah, and we talked about this in person, but on the to bring to the podcast, like watching European football in the morning and then watching MLS at night, it is like very telling. I guess it'd be different if you're a casual fan, but I gotta imagine like even if you don't really know what you're watching, you notice the difference between the two. Like just the touches that some of these guys have, like you said, the speed, the physicality, just night and day between the two leagues. But that aside, it was still a very weird game, very weird first half. Let's jump into the second half. It finally stopped raining, and I gotta say, like, we definitely turned up more in the second half and created a few chances. And unfortunately, just kind of like last week, just we thought we were gonna push for an equalizer, and it just never came. But we came out pretty hot. Bronico had a really good opportunity, great defending by Cincinnati to block that. But just I thought we looked a lot better in that second half than we did in the first. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, especially right off the bat, it was like towards the end of the 46th minute, and Bronick was wide open. Jazviak, I mean, you can't get better placement than that for a little over the defense cross. Um,
Yeah, great run by
yeah, a
Bronico
great
too.
run by him, great control. I felt like he took just like a second too long on that shot.
Yeah,
And I don't know if that's just like a Charlotte thing or what, but it seems like anytime we're in the box, we seem to stutter step like way too long in there. Like it should have been either a one time hit or just control it and then hit it. But if it looked like he just, let me go back and look at this highlight again. But man, it like that. If there was a moment that was gonna bring us back and morale was gonna get boosted, it was that.
yeah,
But
yeah. It's fine. I think that's actually Rios up.
is it? I thought it was Yazviak. Let me find it here.
It's so hard to tell because on YouTube, for some reason, MLS uploads in 720p like it's 2008. Come on.
Yeah,
Wait, at least get 1080p.
you got
I'd love some 1440. I'd love some 4K, but come on, at least
you gotta
1080.
pay extra for that. You know, I think you're
I
right.
have YouTube Premium.
I think you're right. I think that is Rios. Surprisingly,
That's like kudos to him. Yeah, kudos to him
yeah,
for playing that.
yeah,
I think Veronica's first touch could be a little better if we're gonna get nitpicky, which I think in offsides podcast tradition we should.
yeah.
Uh,
Let's get picky
you
with
know,
it.
we always have something to complain
Yeah, I
about.
don't
No,
know.
I'm kidding.
I don't know if he even had
I
more.
think the first touch could be a little tighter. I think that's that difference between like MLS and high level European football is that first touch. But other than that, I mean, perfect play by Bronico. Great run, gets the shot off. I mean, that Cincinnati defender just flies
Yeah,
in, and I mean, it's not like that guy's a slouch, right? That's Matt Miyazaga.
Miyazaga.
Played in the MLS, played on the U.S. national team, got a big move to Chelsea that didn't pan out, and is now back. But I mean, you can see he is like at the highest level of MLS. So
Yeah,
hard defender to beat.
yeah. Cause I got it set here to just kind of replay over and over in this certain highlight, but um, as soon as Bronco gets that, he's originally covering what looks to be Milan or maybe Walks. No, who is? Oh, Vargas. He's covering Vargas, and then Bronco sneaks past him behind, and he just sprints over there like so fast.
Yeah,
Looking at the highlight, like Bronco doesn't stutter step or nothing. He just brings it down and then shoots. Like only way that shot's coming off any quicker is if he one times it. Which
yeah,
I kind of wish I would have seen. Like one, maybe he gets it right on and scores a beautiful goal, or two, he just absolutely woofs it. And he,
Either way, that is tremendous content.
yeah, yeah, that would have been great. Um, Another thing on Bronico is
I wonder if that goes through his head. He's like, man, if I whip this, I'm gonna
oh
get
you
put on some
yeah
kind of
for sure.
TikTok.
Like especially I've been on the end of that. It's not pretty. I've whiffed a couple. I've made a good couple, but I've whiffed way more than I've made.
Yeah, you didn't have the risk of being made into a TikTok though, and had millions of people make fun of you.
No, true. I just had to, you know, endure it just from my high school, which was
Yeah.
not scoring at all. But
um.
another thing I was
So
gonna
yeah, I
ask you
mean,
was, Bender's wearing the captain's band. Um,
Veronica's wearing
I'm
the
sorry,
captain's
but
band.
well, it should have been Bender. But how do I always get those two confused? I guess they look
I
the
don't know.
same. All,
Not even
all these
slightly, but
white boys
okay.
look the same to me. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, what'd you think of? How do you think Bronico handled the pressure of leading the team? Basically,
I mean, is there really any like pressure though? Like,
I would think
I
so.
don't know. I feel like it's more of a formality to wear the armband. Like, I think all those guys out there are like, they're leaders and professionals. Like, they know to step up. Like, I'm sure like Chronicles like communication and all that stuff was probably the same this game as it was any game because he just he seems like that type of guy already. You know, like a very vocal leader.
Yeah. Like
Um,
anytime there's a foul or
so
something, Bronico is right there, in the ref's face, whether it's going our way
yeah,
or the opposite. And he was the same
yeah.
on this game. If anything, maybe just a
So I
little
feel like
more
it's
vocal.
yeah. I feel like wearing the armband is like more of a formality than anything. I was surprised that it went to him. I was surprised and not surprised. Like it was weird. I was surprised that it like went to him and not Kalina. Basically, like that would have
Right.
been my
Yeah.
choice, just because I think it makes sense to have a goalkeeper as a captain at times. But Bronick would be like the guy right after that, you know. And I think it makes sense. You got Fuchs and Carujo both out. Like
Yep.
it would be for me. Yeah, it would be between those two guys.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Kalina would have been definitely a nice option. Maybe even awful in consideration. Um, but that's about it. But I thought he did, I guess for captain's sake, he did fine. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Not too shabby.
yeah. And then we unfortunately felt a feeling of we thought the equalizer was coming. We thought we were breaking them down, and something that I think needs to be talked about is Helena had quite the blunder and played a really bad pass into Nuno Santos in a really bad position
Yeah.
and just gifted a goal to Cincinnati to really kind of seal the game away. Some people were kind of quick to blame it on Santos. Like, I don't think he needs to be receiving the ball there
No.
from Kalina like that, especially when the two center backs are like right next to him, so they can't really even recover. Like, just think it was a poor decision made by Kalina, and it's just happened a few too many times this season.
Yeah. He almost had
Not
a.
calling for his head or anything, but just something that he needs to definitely clean up next year. I think next year, if he comes out doing stuff like this, I think we're going to have to look at the goalkeeper position and probably bring someone new, because I don't think we can keep giving up goals like this.
No, yeah. And I was going to say he had almost a similar instance where he passed the ball off to Walks and then, like, they couldn't decide what to do with it and almost gave it away. Was Who did we play before Cincinnati? Toronto. I think it
Yeah,
was in that Toronto game that he had something similar. Like it's a goal kick and Walks is maybe 2-3 yards beside him and he passes it to the left and then they're like trying to figure out what to do. And it's like just get rid of the ball. Like it shouldn't even be in the box. Get it up the field. And on this one, it kind of cost us basically. That was for sure just a that was a goalkeeper mistake. Um, and surprising because Kalina doesn't have too many. He's had some more than I've
yeah,
liked to. Um, I guess witness or give him credit for, but yeah, it's just I don't know what he was thinking because it looked like the defender saw that pass coming before even Nuno saw that pass
yeah,
come. Like he was on him right away.
yeah.
But
Just
speaking of him, he
really
made his
killed the game.
debut. What'd you think?
Yeah, him and Nathaniel Bryan both made their debuts coming off the
Yep.
bench. Uh, Hard to make a case right now on Santos and Bryan. Obviously, Santos got a bit more time than Nathaniel or Nathan, whatever it is. I have to figure that out. But I felt like there was like potential there. He moved different, kind of like when he received the ball, he was kind of turning with it. Like there's some little nuances there that you could tell. Like he's got some good talent and is a step above our current crop of
Mm-hmm.
midfielders. But I didn't see anything that was like crazy. That where I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is gonna be our win condition. As long as he has a good game, like we're gonna win games, or he's gonna have 1,000 assists. Like I didn't see that. I think he also got put into like a weird role because we can talk about like some of the substitutions that were made. But like I think a really weird one was taken. I think Bender was taken off for Swiderski.
Yeah.
Um, and Swiderski kind of played that attacking midfielder or central attacking midfielder, which was really weird just because that's the whole reason we bought Nuno Santos, and then on the first game you don't even play him there. You kind of play him in a deeper midfield position, so it was just hard to judge him on this
I
game.
remember you saying that when we watched the game, but I could have swore somewhere I saw him listed as a CDM, and not where that was like a role he liked to play more. I swear I saw that because that's we saw him um, warming up and you were trying to guess like who's gonna come off it. And I was like, I'm pretty sure he's gonna take off Jones, and you were like, why? And I was like, well, because Jones is playing on the back, and that's the whole that was the whole sole reason I said Jones because like somewhere I saw that he likes to play that CDM role. So I'm wondering if that's gonna be his continued spot, like somewhere deep in the back.
I really hope not, just because I feel like that spot is we're fine at that spot now. Like you can play Bronica there, you can play Jones there. Like I just feel like it's further up the field, but we need better midfielders at.
Yeah, yeah. I was glad that those two subs were early in the game, around the 68th minute, I believe it was. Um, I'm glad
Yeah,
Shinshinsky was back in. I mean, if honestly, if you're gonna take out Rios for Shinshinsky, Shinshinsky should have just started the whole time.
yeah. I think that would have made a lot more
Yeah,
sense.
and also Sodersky, like you said, for Bender. Yeah, not used to seeing him in that spot. Um, and I don't even really know if he helped the attack too much playing
Yeah,
out that wide.
there were a couple moments where it looked good, and like he kind of drove the ball at the back line, but again, like I didn't see anything that was like that amazing. Um, I think it just goes to show like we have more of a finishing problem or an issue around the final third that is kind of like more team orientated or tactic orientated than it is just due to not having the right players. Because like you put in a very talented guy like Swiderski who has an eye for passing, has an eye for dribbling. Like I think he could play that center attacking mid position, and it's not like he brought on a lot of different results or set up a ton of goals or anything like that. So I think it just has to do with more than just finding the right player in that spot. Anything else in the second half you wanted to cover?
Um, yeah, I was just gonna say I think those other two subs. So like I was glad that he made the early subs, but then he goes and makes the super late subs around the 86th minute, um, where Nathan what is it Byron
Yeah, Nathan Bryan or Byrne or
Byron
something
I
like
don't Byron. If you know how to say it, let us know.
that.
I'm just gonna put it in Google.
Yeah.
But he comes in for awful, which I think that's his respective role. But then you put in Jordi Reyna for Vargas, which makes sense. But it's like, why are you putting these guys in at the 86th minute? It just seems so
Yeah.
late. Like, if anything, 75th, 77th minute, but like 80 plus minutes um, just seems like a real late start. Just
Yeah, I agree. It just
doesn't make
not
sense to
enough
me.
time to get someone like Reyna to do. I mean, at the same time, Reyna has scored what 2 goals within like 90 seconds or something.
True.
So
Very
if
true.
anyone can do it, he can do it. But
Yeah.
I agree. He benefits from more time coming on earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think I would say this with the short amount of time that I saw Santos plays. I mean, he also did get that yellow, which was a very obvious yellow, but not too impressed with Santos. Um, we
Yeah,
still got some
kind of
more
had a
games.
weak pass to Mora as well.
Yeah,
That kind of put us in a bad spot.
yeah,
But we'll see. I mean, he's coming on like early on in the second half. What'd you say, like 68th minute,
yeah,
and the team's already down 1-0. Like that's a tough position to make your debut.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I know he's got more
Interesting
games.
choice of shirt number too. Took over the number
Yeah,
six
number six.
from
Again,
Ruiz.
another PowerPoint there, a little pinpoint to like that's a very CDM number, a number six.
Yeah,
You know, so
true. Well, I looked up, uh, a couple the articles when we bought him, and they all mentioned that he's an attacking
oh
midfielder.
really?
But maybe he, sees himself differently or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
We'll
true.
have
You
to
never know.
wait to
These
find
these
out.
guys kind of all copy off each other and put their stamp on it.
Yeah,
Same thing we do with other podcasters.
yeah.
But yeah,
Any
like I think
any closing notes on the
no,
match?
I was just gonna say, with Santos, I think like as far as guys that we got during this transfer window, he was one of the more hyped up guys. At
Yeah,
least in my mind,
I agree.
like I had very high expectations that that was gonna be like, I thought it was gonna be a very noticeable difference when he came in to play, but he just looked like another regular Charlotte player, so that kind of worries me.
And it's funny because I think last weekend, um, who was the midfielder that LA Galaxy purchased from Barcelona, was it Riku Puyug or whatever? I'm butchering the name.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
He
about,
has
the young guy.
an amazing, yeah, very young guy. He
Exactly.
has an amazing debut. Sets up a great assist with just a defensive penetrating put like pass, like just splits it right down the middle for Chicharito, scores. And then in the next game, he has like a long range goal. That was like a beauty to see. And it's just like, man, look at how these guys are making an impact for their team right away. I mean, again, I'm sure it's a lot easier for LA Galaxy to sign that guy than it is for us, but just kind of goes to show like the calibers of players you can sign versus like who we're kind of bringing in, and not writing off Santos right now. We've both said it's still too early. I think he can have that kind of impact, but it's just crazy when you look at what LA Galaxy have done, what LAFC have done. I mean, shoot, even Toronto,
Exactly.
signing the two Italian guys who've pretty much just carried them back into the playoff picture, and who next year might carry them deep into the playoffs, or maybe even this year. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's just crazy
Yeah.
compared to like Serdarski, Yazwiak.
Yeah, and I think
So
those guys right now, the Toronto guys, who I'm referring to, are some of the biggest club transfer fees right in MLS. I could be mistaken. Could not be the biggest, but they're way up there. Um, and it's like, I think that's kind of one of the things that Tepper's gonna have to do is, like, you want some talent that's really gonna make a difference, then you're gonna have to pay quite a bit.
yeah, hmm
But
yeah. Hopefully he opens up the wallet, but would not be surprised if he doesn't. Just given the way that the football team's been ran.
maybe we can like pay in like Bitcoin or something.
I mean, all that's tanking.
Well, you gotta get it while it's cheap,
All
right?
I guess yeah. If you're a believer, yeah, that's definitely the way to go.
I believe better.
Yeah, so that wraps it up for me as well. Very, sad match to watch. Really bitter way to essentially end the season, really. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this really does put us out of playoffs. Continues our terrible away performance,
Yeah.
and just our overall really weird record of, we only win or lose, and just very odd. No, never seem to be able to just tie a game. Maybe that's a marketing strategy by the team to get more fans who are used to not seeing ties. Um, but yeah, looks like we have only way to go is up for next season, hopefully, and that kind of starts this weekend, upcoming
Yeah,
weekend.
we're playing New York. We'll both be at the game, so you know I'll look for you and pour some popcorn on you. Oh wait, no, I'm not allowed in your
Do you?
level. I'm a peasant.
It does feel good to go up those
I
escalators.
hope you
Nah,
slip. I hope you trip.
kidding.
I hope you have to
um,
get
do you,
carted out.
I hope I do slip, then I can sue Tepper.
He's gonna pay in
I can
Bitcoin.
retire. As long as it's enough to retire.
He's gonna send
Uh,
he's gonna send Rios to your hospital bed and like sign your cast.
oh my gosh. I'd be honored
Oh.
if he didn't do that. Like, I will pay you to not sign
Yeah.
it. So do you think we do the double over New York? We get back to our winning ways at home and beat New York for a second time?
Honestly, no. Just because New York is a better team. Uh,
They've been struggling
they have
lately.
been struggling, but I mean, I think they're gonna come. They're gonna come mad that they lost to us when they weren't supposed to lose. And I think they're gonna come with a vengeance. I hope we win. I really do hope we win because we got some young fans coming. So, uh, it's always fun to see them win and instead of losing. It's weird when you go see a team and they lose at the home stadium. At least for
Especially when it's been a place that has been so hard to win at before.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and now we've lost what I think 3 out of the last 4 or something
Yeah,
at home. Like, that's just crazy compared to how we started this season. But yeah, I mean, New York's coming off a loss against New England 3-0. That is quite the shocker.
yeah, especially for you know
And DC United beat them the week before 2-1.
something's going on.
They're on a bit of a streak, so hopefully we catch them as a part of the streak and not where they end the streak.
Yeah, or maybe they're just. I mean, I could see them. They could just be like playing some of their lesser players to rest their top players, top performing players. Because right now they're sitting comfortably at fourth in the Eastern Conference. So they don't have
Yeah,
much to lose. If anything, they've already secured a playoff spot for sure.
yeah, I agree.
So that's I if anything, I would say like tactics wise, that's probably what's going on. Is the B team is getting more minutes while the A
Yeah,
team rest for the playoff run for the cup run.
and it's kind of scary too because like when we did beat them, I don't feel like we looked like the better team. We just really took advantage of our chances and of the few scoring opportunities they gave us. And now that we're kind of in this rut ever since beating them, I'm a little worried that they're gonna, come home to our home and play that similar, like very possession style based game, and us not have an answer like at home. Like that's
Yeah, they could come for a
a
revenge game.
little nervous. Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully not.
yeah,
Hopefully they kind of just let us have it.
yeah. Just let us win. Come on,
Come
man.
on,
It'll
man.
mean more to us than it will mean to
Yeah,
you.
be like, no, we're from the streets, the New York.
Um.
But I was gonna
So
ask you
go
this.
ahead.
With us, I will have to finally admit that playoffs are out of reach for us. Unless there's some sort of handicap bonus points that I don't know about in MLS, which I could see,
Yeah, that could
especially for
definitely
a
be a
new
hidden rule
team.
we don't know about.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, who who will you be rooting for to make it all the way?
Someone from the Eastern Conference, right? If
Well,
someone's gonna
right,
win the whole thing, you want it someone from your conference.
but
Um,
who would your like I don't know top two picks be?
it might be New York FC. I really liked the way they played.
Really,
Um,
I like the
I
Red
liked how
Bulls.
they moved the ball around and did all that. Like I thought they looked good. Again, like we just kind of took advantage of the few opportunities we got and stole the game from them. But I think like I thought like what their style of play was like to me again. I said it. Well, actually, no one heard because the audio got destroyed in the terrible fire. But I said like they kind of looked most like a European team out of all the games I've watched so far in the MLS of just the way they moved the ball
Agreed.
and the way they build up their attack. So wouldn't mind seeing that. And then the other one would I guess have to be like Philly, just because they I guess deserve it the most. I don't even
Well,
know. They
yeah,
beat the shit out of us. So
yeah. And I was just gonna. I mean, they've been beating the crap out of everybody.
yeah.
Like as far as like my underdog pick, um, another New York team which would be the Red Bulls, not City, but the Red Bulls, just because I favor them a little bit more. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, like on a stats wise, just looking at numbers, most likely gonna be Philly. Um, if you look at like I don't know if you get your SoFap up, but like if you look at the goal differential on any of these teams right now, you're looking at like some plus fives, plus nines, plus eights. New York City's got plus 13, but Philly has a plus 42. Yeah,
Wow.
so they're
And that
sitting
makes sense of
comfortably.
like the way they play. Like I haven't watched any more of their matches like since we played them, but like when they played us, like it felt very much of a style of like we're gonna score quickly and then we're just gonna like pressure you and keep you in your own half. Like you can keep the ball all you want, you're not getting past like the halfway line. And they were just constantly like pressuring players, like pressure, pressure, pressure all the way backwards. And they capitalized on like the really bad mistakes where it was like an easy goal, and then just played their game of just like keeping you back. And they did that for like a full 90 minutes with like no mistake. Like it's not my favorite style to watch, but it's very impressive that a team can just do that. Like they can just suffocate you to death, basically.
Yeah, it's probably like one of the most boring games to watch. But I mean, they just came in. They knew what they had to do, put one or two in, and then just sit on it, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not like they just sat back in their own half either.
No,
Like,
no, no. They gave us
from
the
what I
ball.
remember that game, it's like we couldn't, yeah, like we could not get out of our own half
No.
because of their pressure.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah,
I was very
it
surprised to see like for
that's got to be one of the most frustrating teams to play. I bet.
yeah, yeah, it just yeah, we couldn't get out of our own half. I think
We'll see how that goes.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um
So if you're not picking an Eastern team and you can pick, anyone in the league, who do you think is going to win it all?
uh
Who's your favorite to win it? I guess.
I mean my realistically it's probably going to be like uh, LAFC. They seem to have a
Yeah,
pretty stacked team right now. So
I feel like it might just be the Gareth Bale show
yeah.
in the playoffs.
Yeah. But no, I think realistically it's probably going to be uh, LAFC and Philly in the final if that's how it plays out, right? Or I'm not sure how the playoffs go. I don't think it stays.
I'd imagine
Does it
like it's
stay
got to be
divided?
a Western and an East.
Yes, it probably stays divided, right?
Yeah, I
Again,
think
this
so.
is my
Yeah,
first time fully watching the MLS season. I'm just kind of learning
yeah. I
as I
didn't even
go.
know we had playoffs.
Yeah,
I just thought you just played to play since there's no promotion or regulate or reg whatever
yeah, and I
demotion.
and it's hard to do in the U.S. just because like I mean it's so big of a country. Uh,
Not only that too, but just the way the league's set up of like you have to pay to get in.
yeah,
Like no one's gonna pay however much money it is if you can get kicked out your first season. And
yeah,
in the Premier League, from what I understand, it's you basically lose like 50% of your value when that happens.
yikes.
Like players take like big pay cuts just because the club brings in so much less money, especially from like TV rights,
Oh right,
like broadcasting rights, from getting demoted.
yeah,
Like I think it's really significant. So like, I mean, imagine you pay $50 million to get into the MLS, and you finish last your first season, and it's like, all right, well, how we gave you, let's say, 5 million a year for the broadcasting rights. This year we're only going to give you 1 million. You're like, holy cow! Like I'm just even more in the hole now, and I don't have the money to like pay my players. And in certain player contracts, I think you like have to let them leave if you get demoted. So it's like losing some of my best players. So like now the battle to get promoted is even harder. Like it's just not easy to get back into the Premier League once you get demoted. So I can't imagine like when it's a pay to play kind of system that you could do that because no one's gonna buy in.
Yeah, and I think another thing I saw an interesting video where like like I guess European fans were shocked when they went to an MLS game. Is like they saw the chants and they saw the the fan section and all that, but they're like, "Who are you chanting at?" Like the whole stadium is filled with your people. They're like, I
Yeah,
don't. Did I send you
I
that
think I
video?
saw a similar video.
Right.
Yeah, I think you did
Yeah,
send it to
they're
me. Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
whenever you go to these, because there's so many clubs, all in just a small packed area. They're like, half the club is Team A and the other half is Team B, and your chants are going back and forth between the fans. Where here it's like, who are you like? Who are you screaming at?
Yeah,
But I never
yeah.
even thought about it that way. I know in Colombia it was
Well,
the
when you
same
think
way.
about it too, you think about like just how big the U.S. is compared to like
Well, right.
Europe. Like, but think of it just not even just Europe, just England in general. Like, I can't imagine that the commute to the furthest away game is more than like an hour or two,
Yeah,
if that, right? Because they always say like
more than like three
if you
hours is a
drive for
long
4 or
drive.
8 hours, yeah, like if you drive like for 8 hours, you get to like Florida. If you so, but if you drive for 8 hours in Europe, you're like in two whole different countries.
Yeah,
Uh, and just their transportation is easier as well, from what I've heard. Like flying in Europe is cheaper because everything's so close by.
yeah,
You also have the train systems, like just
yeah,
so there's just easier ways to get to your team. Opposed to like when we play LAFC, it's like, whoa, I'm definitely not going to that
yeah.
game.
And sometimes
I didn't
it's
even go to the Atlanta
yeah,
game.
sometimes it's even harder to watch those games because of the time differential. They're
Yeah,
playing like what
yeah,
7 p.m. over there, but it's like 10 o'clock over here. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna make it past the first half. Maybe not even the past 10 minutes.
yeah.
Some of the older
And
fellas.
and too, like when you do realize that in a stadium it's mostly their own fans. Like I don't really want to go to Atlanta as like the only Charlotte FC fan.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a little little
yeah.
dangerous.
Well, that's another thing too. Like I remember in Colombia when we went to some of the Cali games, like there would definitely be some sections that were not sold just to keep um, the two fans section, the two supporter sides separated. Because sometimes there would
Yeah,
be fights, and it would like turn into a
yeah.
big fight. Um, one match I wasn't even allowed to like. Mom, she wouldn't even let me wear my jersey. She was like, she was afraid that somebody was gonna try to fight.
They're gonna shank you,
Yeah,
little
like when
toddler.
Cali and America play, like that's the El Clasico down there, and yeah, there's
Yeah,
definitely sections that are not sold just to keep the fans away, and America fans come in one entrance and Cali fans come in a different entrance. I don't know if it's still
yeah,
like that, like where the violence is, but I know when I went a few times, it was.
yeah.
But
I
that's the
I
thing
don't
I
know.
love
Hopefully, it's
about it,
changed.
like the chaos of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't think
anyways,
we'll see that
no,
here.
no. If anything, people are just gonna ride over the popcorn prices,
Yeah.
or because they're not
Do you
allowed to
think?
go inside when it's raining.
Yeah, people do get pissed about that. Hopefully that doesn't happen this weekend.
It's supposed to
But
rain.
we'll see. Ah, brother. Do you think we should storm the field at the end of the season?
Ooh.
I feel like all the Charlotte FC fans should do it.
We're like, what are you gonna do? Wait, the season's over.
They can't stop all of
Yeah, we're
us.
like, well, we could still find you. There's cameras everywhere. That's the
Yeah,
only
that's
thing
true.
one of those face masks would come in handy for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
if everybody did it, for
Uh,
sure, rush the field. We gotta,
be a good way to end the
yeah,
season.
we gotta figure out some sort
Get
of
kicked out of the league.
figure out a GoFundMe to just bail people out.
Yeah. Listen, if everyone puts in $500, we can definitely get bail.
Mm-hmm. Or get like one of
Um,
those Facebook pages, like those what was it, a Storm Area 51, like one of those
yeah,
events. Just start that up.
the Naruto run at the
Oh
whatever big
yes,
last big hurricane was in Florida.
yeah. Let's Naruto run the field.
That would be great.
I'll do it.
The last thing I want to talk about is, Top in 90 put out a really good video shortly after the Cincinnati loss of kind of like his quick raw reaction to basically the entire season so far, and where he thought that Charlotte FC went wrong, and like kind of where the season went wrong. And to highlight his points real quick, and again, we said it a couple times. If you're not following Top in 90, definitely should go check out the video. It's a really great video, very insightful. But he basically said it was over at the beginning with the hiring of Coach Miguel. When you have a coach who isn't treating players well, is argumentative, maybe isn't buying fully into the philosophy of the club. Maybe he just wasn't the right fit, right? And maybe the vetting process for the head coach should have been better, or they should have been able to like see these issues earlier, especially that we had the extra year due to COVID of prepping the team, and also just not like providing a full squad right away. That's that kind of ruined the season already. And then his other thing was, I believe, pretty much the letting go of a lot of players. Franco Ortiz, Ruiz is left. We've lost a lot of players in this first season, especially since most of them were just like halfway through. And maybe that hurt, having like a depleted squad, and having to rely on youngsters such as Quinn McNeil and Ben Bender so much in their first season, and not having kind of more established players or veteran players, was kind of from what I recall of the video, like is another big point of his. If you had to kind of put out a similar thing, where do you see that the season went wrong, and what would be your kind of like point in the timeline that this is kind of where the season was over for us, or where it kind of doomed us?
Um, no, yeah, he made a bunch of good points. But I think also he's got like a lot of insider um information that like us probably regular fans don't really have access to. Obviously, we didn't know about the issues with Miguel, and COVID, and all the late sign-ins, and not having just the time to really prep a squad. Obviously, didn't help. I felt like maybe it was probably doomed from the beginning, just because of those few things there, especially like a lot of the signings we got were very very late, like 2 3 months before the season even started, and that's not enough time to get guys. Maybe they were in shape, but not enough time to get them with like comfortable with each other. I think we talked about this as far as developing team chemistry, um, and getting to know like what formation works, what doesn't. So I would say doomed from the start. But the other point would, or the other part of it that I figured I was like, this is not good, is when we had that four or five away games, and I think we only got 1 point out of it. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is not good, not good at all.
And one of the other things too, I kind of want to just ask you, do you know who Riley McGree is?
No, I don't know the name.
He was a midfielder that Charlotte FC signed. He was one of the first midfielders. And I guess from what I took from Top in 90's video was that Miguel didn't really even value him that much and actually let him go. He said he didn't have plans to use him. And now he went on loan somewhere, I forget where. I think it might have been to Middlesbrough, but they ended up signing him to a full contract. And so now he's playing for Middlesbrough in the championship side.
Wow.
So again, one for fans that aren't aware, that's one level below the Premier League. So playing in a very competitive league for a very well-established club. They're 17th right now, unfortunately, but he's 23. He's Australian. Plays on the Australian national team. But if you go see some of his highlights, like he's scoring in the championship, he's setting up plays. Like he really looks like the type of player that a lot of people have said have been missing in the midfield.
Right.
And it kind of just goes to show, like, having a coach that doesn't even want to give certain players a chance. And we saw that with, Quinn McNeil as well. We signed Quinn McNeil, an undrafted rookie, and he immediately got sent to Independence with no communication from Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
He gets, a start at a necessity, basically, from Latanzio. And ever since then, established himself as a starter, as a very good midfielder in the league, one of the best on the team. And it's so, yeah, I have to agree with, like, with Top in 90 there, of like, if you have a coach like that, like maybe your vetting process needs to be better. Like maybe that kind of shows the doom right away of like, we lost out on a high quality player just because of, like, I guess, arrogance, basically.
Yeah, definitely
So I just kind of wanted to
arrogance.
like point that out to the fans as well. Of like, because I didn't know that we had him and sold him until I looked further into it. And so, just I think a lot of fans maybe didn't know about this or what, but just wanted to like just throw that out there. We're not just like throwing shade at Miguel because he got fired or anything like that. Like there's a lot of actions that he did that kind of support the letting go of him, but also show that, like, hey, maybe the front office should have got ahead of this sooner. I don't know. So just wanted to bring that up as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if like if any fans are out there or Spaniards or from Spain. I'm sorry, but I think it's like from the few people that I have met that are from Spain, they all have seemed like very arrogant and just like they think they know it all. I can see why. Like you got two very top club teams over there, um, but they always just seem like just super cocky, super arrogant, and I don't know if that's just how they grow up and they think that they know everything or what. But it's like you take a long, hard look in the mirror and be like, come here and do the job and like don't be so dismissive. Cause yeah, I definitely didn't hear about this guy, and he sounds like it could have been a good weapon for us. So that
Yeah,
sucks.
especially if you go look up his highlights.
Yeah, no, I'll have to look him up, but very disappointing that we let him go.
Yeah, I think for me it has, a lot to do, one, with that of like why the season went poorly, but I think two of just like, and I don't know if it's an MLS thing or just a Charlotte FC thing, but I just feel like the front office has just way too much power and just did not deliver on like who they brought in. Maybe these were the best guys they could bring in, and it's kind of like better to bring someone in than no one. And they've brought in some exciting names for the future, possibly within, Kerwin Vargas, within Derek Jones, Malanda. Those guys are exciting names to going forward. Ben Bender, obviously exciting name going forward. So it is a very young team as well, but just feels like maybe you should have an established coach work with you more on that and try to build out the team that you think was going to fit the way you want to play the most, as opposed to like bringing in a coach and then dictating who comes in and who comes out and having him have to just work with what he's got. It's like, I don't know, I feel like it needs to be more cohesive, or maybe more hands off from the front office and let the coach do more of it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I agree. I've always felt like as far as sign-ins should always kind of be left up to coaching. You got your scouts, you go out there and look and assess, but the final say so should go to the coach, because that's who you're going to be basing your formations and game styles around. Is players that you pick because of certain qualities that you like. So, but just overall looking at it, it just seemed like a very doomed start, and it almost seems like it's going to be just a very slow start for Charlotte. Like it's going to be a very slow build-in program, expansion team. We had some early success, but we're two or three bottom of the table, like standings wise. So if we finish in 10th or 11, um, it's not gonna help us. I don't think too much, but
Yeah,
um, yeah, I think it's
I don't
gonna
think
be
we're
a
gonna have.
slow process as far as building up the program too, where we can get some real top quality players.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be like Atlanta was and win in our second season unless we make a big overhaul to the squad in this off season, and I think that's going to be tough with the World Cup happening, and the winter transfer window is always a bit slower or less active than the summer one. At least for European football, it's always been that way. Again, it could be different for MLS since that's like your true off season. But I think if the club wants to turn it around, I think they got to be very active in the transfer market this coming up window and really show that to the fans. Like, hey, we want to improve on this season. We want to be competitors and bring in just to be fourth, like just some more talented players. Like it's just not enough right now. There's clear talent gaps between us and the best teams. Not saying that as like a reaction to this Cincinnati match. I think that was just poor starting 11 and poor starting lineup or poor performance. But I think like when you put us up against the Phillies, the LAFCs, LA Galaxy, there's just like a clear talent disparity there that we need to shore up.
Agreed. No, yeah, I agree.
Any closing thoughts for you?
Uh, no, just kind of looking forward to the match. Um, hopefully it doesn't rain, but like I said, I do like a nice rainy match every now and then. So I won't be disappointed if it does.
Yeah, and I think I don't know how many people are getting it, but I think if you are early to the match, they're giving away bobbleheads of the
Right,
team, I
that's what I meant
think,
to
or
tell you
something like
last time.
that.
Yeah, they were doing bobbleheads. So yeah, I think kickoff is at 1, but the bobbleheads are being given away at 1:30. So make sure you show up late.
No, that doesn't make
I want my
sense.
bobblehead.
I think you're
I
lying.
want my bobblehead. Yeah, I am
But if you
lying.
show up at 1:30, you do get a free jersey. You just got to ask the ticket attendance
If you
guy.
show up at 1:30, it'll be right at kickoff.
Is that when kickoff is 1:30?
They're usually about 15, 20 minutes late on the actual kickoff.
Oh, but like, what does it say kickoff is?
All
I
right,
haven't
I'm
looked.
pretty sure it is 1. We'll have to ask
Double
DJ
check.
Fannie
Yep, 1
Mae.
p.m. 1 p.m. We're back at the bank. Do you think the stadium needs a better nickname, or is that fine? I see a lot of people online arguing over calling it the bank or the keep or the castle or
Oh,
blah
no,
blah
that's pretty cool.
blah.
I don't mind the castle or that. But I was kind of upset a little bit when the announcers said that Cincinnati was the real Queen City. I was like, oh,
Well, it's their local announcers, of course.
well,
They're gonna
yeah.
say
I was
that.
like, wait till
Who was established first?
I don't care. This is a new era. Out with the old. Let them eat cake.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys Saturday at
Okay.
1 against New
Yeah, let
York.
them know where to find us.
Yep. So if you want to interact with us more, feel free to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at offsides_CLTFC. And if you enjoy the podcast, leave a review wherever you're listening to this, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever. Leave a 5-star review. And if you really enjoyed it and you want to help grow our fan base, share it with a friend or share it with someone who you think won't enjoy it, just to bug them. I'd enjoy that as well. But until next time, we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Hasta mañana.